We're working to connect a region of over 600 mil bridges between our lands.
Hello, Malma Angeles. We're moving to the next stage of this pandemic, and as the world resets to the new normal, we find ourselves seeking the right balance between health and livelihood, constantly adjusting the boundaries between liberty and responsibility. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. First, let's start off with the coronavirus updates in ASEAN by country. Take a look. In Brunei, the country has reported one new case recorded on August 7, taking the total to 142. Cambodia, 2 new cases reported on August 9, bringing the total to 248. Now, Indonesia saw 1,893 new infections and 65 deaths, bringing the totals to 125,396. Next, Laos saw 1 new case on July 24, taking the total to 20. Malaysia saw 13 new cases, bringing the total to 9,083. Myanmar saw 2 new cases, taking the total to 360 with 6 deaths. Philippines saw 3,028 new cases and 61 deaths, taking the totals to 129,913 and 2,270 deaths. Singapore recorded 175 new cases, bringing the total to 55,104. Thailand saw 3 new cases on August 9, taking the total to 3,351 amid the deaths. Vietnam recorded 29 new cases and 1 death on August 9, bringing the total to 841 amid 11 deaths. And the pandemic has killed at least 729,393 people worldwide since its surface in China late last year, according to a tally from official sources compiled by AFP at 1100 GMT on Friday. At least 19,773,447 cases have been registered in 196 countries and territories. The U.S. has recorded the most deaths, followed by Brazil, Mexico, Britain, and India. Luzon will continue to experience rains due to tropical depression Ferri and the southwest monsoon affecting the island, as several areas have been placed under tropical cyclone warning signal number 1, according to Pag-asa on Monday. In its 5 a.m. bulletin, the Pag-asa Services Administration said that Ferri was last tracked 210 kilometers west of Lawag City, Ilocos Norte. It has a maximum sustained winds of 55 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 70 kilometers per hour. Ferri is now approaching the northwestern border of the Philippine Area of Responsibility. The combined effects of Ferri and the enhanced southwest monsoon will cause strong breeze force to near gale force winds over Ilocos Region, Cordillera Administrative Region, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, Metro Manila, Region 4A, and Region 4B, which is Mimaropa. Gusty conditions are more likely in coastal and mountainous regions of these areas. Monsoon rains was forecast over Ilocos Region and the provinces of Abra, Benguet, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, Pampanga, both due to the tropical depression and the southwest monsoon. The southwest monsoon is expected to cause occasional rains over Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms will prevail over Visayas and Mindanao. Areas under tropical cyclone wind signal number 1 are the western portion of Ilocos Norte, Badok, Pinili, Curimao, Batac City, Paway, San Nicolas, Lawag City, Pasugin, Bacara, Burgos, and western portion of Ilocos Sur, Magsingal, Santo Domingo, San Ildefonso, San Vicente, San Juan, Cabugao, Sinait, Santa Catalina. Sea travel is risky over the seaboards of areas under signal number 1 due to rough to very rough seas, and those with small sea crafts are advised to take precautionary measures while venturing out over the seaboards of Visayas and the rest of Luzon due to moderate to rough seas. Okay, let's go to Laos now, where the country is seeing rising public debt amidst the pandemic. Joining us live from Laos is Kim De Leon. Hello, Kim. Okay, Kim, can you turn on your audio, please?
Sorry about that, Alma.
There you go. Okay.
Hi, Alma.
Hi,
Here are
Kim.
the latest updates here in Laos, People's Democratic Republic. Public debt is on the rise for Laos after a drop in revenue collection and an increase in loans amid the COVID-19 pandemic. According to one government official, Laos public debt could rise to as much as 65 to 68% of GDP in 2020, following a steep decline in national revenue collection alongside an increase in loans due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, Laos revenue collection will fall by some 6.322 billion Laotian kip, or 696 million USD, Minister of Finance Deputy Prime Minister Somdi Duondi said at the recent ninth ordinary session of the National Assembly's eighth legislature. According to an assessment by an agency of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, the value of exports during the first 6 months of 2020 was at a reduced level of around 2.6 billion USD, down by 5.1% compared to the same period in 2019. The processing and construction industries, two sectors vitally important to Laos, showed a downward trend, including drops in cement, gold, and copper production, according to the Vientiane Times. Investment is also declining as in the first 5 months of 2020, the value of approved investment through concession programs was only 151 million USD compared to 2,383 billion USD for the same period in 2019. Meanwhile, the tourism sector has been heavily affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, with only 887,447 in the first 6 months of the year. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Kim, for your updates there in Laos, and looking forward for more updates coming from you and your country. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Almia. Reporting live from Laos, this is Kim De Leon. We live in interesting times.
To Malaysia now, where 13 new cases, including 9 important ones, were detected. 2 new clusters even. Gail Aldos joins us live from Kuala Lumpur. Hello, Gail.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Here is the latest news. 13 new COVID-19 cases were reported in Malaysia yesterday, comprising of 9 imported and 4 local transmission cases, said by Health Director General Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah. He said the imported cases involved 5 Malaysians and 4 foreigners. All of the local transmissions cases involved Malaysians, 2 linked to the Sivaganga cluster and 1 each to the Kurau and Meranti clusters. He said in a statement, for the imported cases, 2 each were from China, India, and Japan, while 1 each was from Ireland, Indonesia, and Yemen. Meanwhile, for the local transmissions, 3 cases were detected in Penang, and 1 was confirmed in the Federal Territory of Putrajaya. Dr. Nur Hisham said 9 cases were discharged yesterday, bringing the cumulative figures for recoveries to 8,784, or 96.7% of the total number of positive cases. 1 positive case was still being treated in the intensive care unit, but was not on ventilator support. No fatalities were also reported yesterday, with the death toll remaining at 125. On developments concerning the Sivaganga PUI cluster, Dr. Nur Hisham said that so far 4,636 people had been screened, with 45 having tested positive, 4,105 negative, and 486 are still waiting their test results. The COVID-19 screenings were conducted in 3 states, in Kedah, Perlis, and Penang, while screening of close contacts and active case detection are continuing. Dr. Nur Hisham said the Health Ministry had taken various preventive measures like sanitization in several areas identified as closely linked to the cluster. In another related news, 2 new clusters were detected. The Health Ministry has detected 2 more new COVID-19 clusters, the Kurau cluster in Penang and the Meranti cluster in Putrajaya. The Kurau cluster involved 2 positive cases, with the first case number 9050 reported on August 7th, while the second case number 9082 was the brother-in-law of case number 9050. The second case was detected through active case detection and close contact screening. Following this, his family in Penang have also been screened. Dr. Nur Hisham said in a statement yesterday, the second case was detected as positive for COVID-19 yesterday on August 9th, while 5 of his family members who have been screened so far have been found negative. He also said to date, 115 close contacts have been screened, with 106 found negative, while 9 more are waiting for the screening test results. Meanwhile, active detection and screening of close contacts are still being conducted. On the Meranti cluster, Dr. Nur Hisham said the positive cases were detected on August 8th when a health worker, case number 9083, was found to be positive. He said the person had contact with case number 8968, which was a COVID-19 case detected through a pre-surgery screening. Upon investigation, case number 8968 was found to have a history of getting treatment at the health facility where case number 9083 was working. Dr. Nur Hisham said the ministry was conducting close contact screening and active case detection activities, with 15 individuals screened, while the cause of the cluster infections is still being investigated. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Gail, for your updates there. Thank you, EBC Kuala Lumpur Bureau.
Thank you, Alma. Reporting live from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, this is Gail Aldas. We live in interesting times.
All right, from Malaysia, let's now go over to Vietnam. Let's get the latest coronavirus update plus more. Chriselle Lacuna joins us live. Hello, Chriselle.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Vietnam confirms 29 new COVID-19 cases. Total reaches 841. The National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control has just confirmed 29 new COVID-19 cases, raising the country's patient tally to 841, including 395 recoveries. The latest cases are all linked to Da Nang, the country's biggest hotspot for COVID-19 pandemic. Of these, 19 are residents of Da Nang, 8 others are residents of Quang Nam, and the remainders are from Quang Tri. 2 women diagnosed with COVID-19, both with underlying morbidities, died on Monday morning, taking the Vietnam's death toll to 13. Of all the 13 deaths so far have been of patients with underlying conditions such as kidney failure, heart failure, cancer, and hypertension. Because of these, citizens are encouraged to join COVID-19 fight. Deputy Prime Minister Boot Duk Dam has called on all citizens to join hands in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic by strictly observing preventive measures, including installing COVID-19 tracking apps. So apparently, Alma, there are new apps launched under the government of Vietnam. These apps are called the Blue Zone. Blue Zone apps on smartphones help to detect exposure of the source of infection. It quickly tracks people at risk of infection and warns its users if having close contact with the people with COVID-19. And the other app is called nCoV app. The application is providing official information, updates, and tools for self-assessment of risk and guidance for self-isolation when there is risk. It also provides tools for hotlines and the map of the nearest medical facility. Addressing a meeting at the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control, DAM asked press agencies to step up information dissemination to ensure that citizens wear face masks, refrain from going outside if not necessary, keep safe distance from each other. FU suggested localities need to accelerate contract tracing of people with travel records to Da Nang, while Acting Minister of Health Win Tan Long called for expanding scope of testing to quickly detect infection cases. Another breakthrough, Alma, Vietnam to use TB tests for COVID-19. The Ministry of Health has approved the use of Gene Expert, a tuberculosis test for COVID-19 screening. It is a real-time polymerase chain reaction, or RT-PCR test that has been used in Vietnam since 2012. Nguyen Viet Nhung, director of National Lung Hospital in Hanoi, said the test is similar to RT-PCR, gives accurate results for both COVID-19 and tuberculosis, and could be automated to a great degree. The results are available in 35 to 45 minutes. Rapid tests, on the other hand, need to be done at the right time, when the body has enough antibodies to get the correct results. Vietnam is currently using both RT-PCR and the rapid test for COVID-19 screening. The country has around 200 gene expert testing machines at 28 laboratories. Da Nang, now a COVID-19 hotspot, has 3 but can get more from Hanoi if needed. The National Lung Hospital is set to procure 16,000 gene expert test kits from Sweden by August 15. It will distribute them first to COVID-19 hotspots such as Da Nang, Hanoi, and Ho Chi Minh City, and the provinces of Quang Nam, Thanh Hoa, and Dak Lak. Medical personnel at all localities have been trained to perform this test. Hanoi ran out of COVID-19 rapid test kits after screening over 88,000 people who had returned from Da Nang since July 8. While waiting for the new test kits, authorities encourage people to monitor themselves for symptoms, strictly adhere to 14-day quarantine procedures, and take all recommended protective measures. So far, that is the update from Vietnam, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Rochelle, for all your updates there in Vietnam. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting live from Ho Chi Minh City, this is Rochelle Yacuna. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Rochelle. Mask-wearing Singaporeans wave flags as fighter jets, military vehicles, and helicopters pass by in celebration of the city-state's 55th year of independence. Small crowds of people donned red and white and gathered in the popular tourist spot to watch as helicopters carrying the national flag flew past iconic buildings. But due to the pandemic, people were encouraged to watch live streams at home instead of gathering in the city center to watch the parade. Singapore's annual National Day marks its independence from Malaysia in 1965. Take a look.
I'm feeling very happy for Singapore National Day. Happy birthday of Singapore, 55 years in good and successful country.
I think it's a day to unite and to really think back that we are a group of citizens and then getting together. I think that's very nice. It's very meaningful. Yeah.
The National Day of Singapore is celebrated every year on August 9 in commemoration of Singapore's independence from Malaysia in 1965. This holiday features a national holiday parade, an address by the Prime Minister, and fireworks celebrations. National Day celebrations also include fireworks. Now, they feature several local and foreign teams which launch fireworks displays on different nights. Now, this was first held in 2004 at Marina Bay. The event was initially known as the Singapore Fireworks Festival and organized by Unusual Productions. Now, the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Hsien Loong, in his National Day message, said Singapore will need unity and resilience more than ever to fight COVID-19. Take a look.
This year, National Day falls amidst COVID-19. We are not able to celebrate in our usual way, but we are determined still to hold the parade as a symbol of our unity as a nation, like we have done every year since independence. This NDP is also an opportunity for us to salute those on our front line fighting COVID-19. Many of them have gone way beyond the call of duty and shown great generosity of spirit. It will most likely take a year or two before a vaccine is widely available and the threat of the virus is blunted. Until then, we have to maintain our vigilance and resolve to keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our neighbors all safe. Business closures, retrenchments, and unemployment are all likely to go up in the coming months. But this is not the first economic crisis we have experienced. Just in the last quarter century, we've seen the Asian financial crisis, the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and the global financial crisis Each time, the outlook was ominous and we feared the worst. But each time, we worked hard to secure our position, gritted our teeth, and came through together.
ASEAN in Focus, we'll be right back.
Hello there. Imagine Demi got the virus, and she infected 2 more. And those 2 infected a lot more of people. And it goes on and on until it became an epidemic. But what if Demi stayed at home? Then those 2 wouldn't have contracted the virus. Then those people would have not been infected. This is not just your battle, it's everyone's, and you can be a huge help. Follow social distancing, or better yet, stay at home.
All right, to Thailand now, where rival parties are rallying outside the parliament. The kingdom has seen nearly daily demonstrations for weeks by mostly young students denouncing the military-aligned government of Premier Prayut Chan-o-cha. We have a report coming in live from Thailand. Is Faye Barte. Hello, Faye. A little bit, yeah, your audio is a little bit low. Maybe we can turn it up.
How
There
about
you
this,
go.
Alma?
There you go.
All right.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yes, Alma, the update here in Thailand, confrontation between anti-government protesters and opponents who constantly warned them to stop dragging the high institution into their activism is feared as both sides plan rallies outside parliament this morning. The anti-government movement is led by the Free People and the Students' Union of Thailand, while the Royalist movement is headed by the Archiwa Chuai Chart. This is a vocational students helping the nation group, and another group calling itself the Association of Students of Thailand. The 2 sides have both announced their plans to rally outside parliament at 10 a.m. today. The anti-government side is demanding the government to stop threatening people who come out to exercise their democratic rights and freedom. The group has criticized injustice and disparities in societies, urge a rewrite of the constitution and house dissolution. And the other side, meanwhile, accuses the first side of having a hidden agenda, which targets the high institution and warning anti-government protesters to stick their claimed goal of finding a way out of the country's political crisis. The anti-government side has asked its supporters to rally outside parliament the morning before they gather again at Thammasat University's Rangsit campus at 5 p.m. when thousands of people, mostly university students. Alma, because of this incident and this situation, many people are saying that they were believed to have been in border patrol police custody and in the province, while anti-government rallies took place in Chiang Mai and other places. However, Move Forward MP or member of the parliament of Pitsanulok, Padipat Santipada, said that the 31st company, the Border Patrol Police Unit in the province, told him that there had been no arrest of the student leaders. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much, Faye. You take care of yourself. Is the rally near you?
Some places are near here, which is located in the center of Bangkok. However, even if the rally is near it, peace is still steam.
Okay. All right. What about social distancing? Are they able to practice social distancing and all those safety measures
Yeah,
for COVID?
that is a very good question, Alma, because they are, they are having the protest and or rally. Social distancing is not nearly seen. However, wearing a face mask and somehow like using the alcohol is still seen on them.
All right.
And they still, yes, they still practice
Some of it.
safety measures.
All
So
right.
COVID will not be, yes. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Faye, for your updates, and thank you were able to join us today. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Likewise, Alma. This is Faye Barte reporting live from Bank of Thailand Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
The number of police officers infected with the coronavirus disease has reached 2,492. As of 6 p.m. this is Sunday, the Philippine National Police Health Service reported 33 new confirmed COVID-19 cases among its ranks. Meanwhile, a total of 1,563 personnel have recovered from the disease, while the death toll remains at 12. It is also monitoring 842 probable cases and 2,177 suspected cases. More than 900 of the confirmed cases were from the National Capital Region and were deployed as frontliners, particularly in the manning of control points and conducting patrol. Gamboa said the Central Visayas Region 4A or Calabarzon and Central Luzon police officers follow the NCR in the areas with the most number of COVID-19 cases among cops. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año said police officers who work directly with the medical workers and are deployed in the COVID isolation facilities are immediately subjected to rapid tests at the end of their duties. Año said measures are being done to decrease the chances of the cops, who are also considered as frontliners, from contracting the virus. He also said the cops on duty in these facilities and those accompanying health workers in extracting COVID-19 patients in the communities also wear personal protective equipment. In case the police officers tested positive for COVID, Año said they would automatically undergo reversive transcription polymerase chain reaction testing. Año added the relevo or shifting system is applied to the cops manning the isolation facilities and those accompanying the local health workers in contact tracing. In other news, President Duterte has approved the release of additional 5 billion pesos for the repatriation and assistance to overseas Filipino workers affected by the pandemic. That is according to the Department of Labor and Employment. Now, DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III said big portion of the fresh funds will be released to the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, which undertakes the repatriation of displaced Filipinos due to lockdowns and closure of establishments overseas. In a statement, he said because the President loves our new modern-day heroes, he's providing them the additional funds for the repatriation and assistance to our OFWs, unquote. Aside from repatriation assistance, the OWA also shoulders the cost of COVID-19 tests of OFWs upon arrival in the country, their food and accommodation in hotels while awaiting the test results. It also provides transportation assistance to the OFWs back to their home provinces via land, sea, and air once tested negative from the virus. The latest batch of 1,185 OFWs took their rides to their home provinces on Saturday, bringing the total number at 129,491 OFWs sent home and given assistance since May 15. For its part, the DOLE has been providing a one-time $200 or 10,000 pesos cash aid under Abot Kamay, ang Pagtulong or ACAP, to OFWs both on site and those stranded in the country affected by the pandemic. Now, authorities in the Vietnamese capital of Hanoi have started a large-scale real-time PCR test for around 70,000 residents who travel to central Da Nang City, Vietnam's current coronavirus hotspot, in an attempt to contain the outbreak as the number of cases rises over the last 2 weeks. Now, Hanoi authorities believe the real-time PCR test will provide more accurate results compared to the rapid testing method they conducted in the week earlier. Let's take a look.
Gia đình vì sức khỏe thì cũng đông người nên là cũng phải an toàn, nên là tốt nhất là quyết định là đi khám một lần, đi xét nghiệm lần nữa cho chắc chắn, để cho về là không có ai ở trong nhà bị làm sao cả, không là nữa lây một người là tất cả mọi người đều bị. Thì như mình xem ở trên các cái nước ngoài với cả các cái nước khác thì mình thấy là hầu hết là họ nhiều khi họ rất bị dồn nén, tức là quá nhiều người. Nhưng mà như mình thì bên mình thì nó cũng có một ít bị dồn thôi, nhưng mà mình xử lý rất là nhanh và rất là cẩn thận, chuyên nghiệp. Bên Việt Nam mình theo như thấy thì Việt Nam mình làm việc rất là cẩn thận các thứ về cái này. Mình nói chung là Việt Nam mình đã một lần dập được dịch rồi thì cũng sẽ có lần thứ hai.
Thấy không ạ, kiểu xét nghiệm cái thủ tục rất là nhanh, thủ tục rất là gọn, kiểu và người ta cũng xét nghiệm rất là kỹ càng, và người ta cũng kiểu đeo đủ đồ bảo hộ các thứ, cũng kiểu y tế sạch sẽ ạ. Thì nói chung là không có gì để đáng lo cả, và mọi thứ thì rất là gọn nhẹ, kiểu tiện ấy.
Vietnam recorded 29 new cases, 1 death on August 9, bringing the total to 841. The Department of Labor and Employment said the remains of the 4 overseas Filipino workers who died in a massive explosion in Beirut last week are set to arrive this month. In a statement, DOLE said the bodies of Ardel Bustamante Maglangit from Zamboanga del Sur, Perdita Guillermo Mendoza from Ilocos Sur, Milagros Campo Sumaculon from Guimaras, and a still unnamed OFW are set to arrive on August 16. It also said the chartered flight scheduled on August 16 will include the human remains of the Filipino casualties of the explosion. The DOLE reported that 4 Filipinos have died, 42 injured, and 2 are missing in the incidents. More than 137 people have died and thousands were wounded after an explosion rocked the Lebanon capital on August 4. On the other hand, some 13 Filipino seafarers who were also affected by the blast are set to fly back to the country on August 20. Earlier, DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III said the OFWs are entitled to benefits provided by the host country and the Philippine government. Malaysia's Mahathir Mohamad, 95, said he was setting up a new political party as he seeks to take on the government months after he quit as premier and his administration collapsed. Take a look.
Jadi parti baru ini akan mendukung dasar-dasar parti bersatu waktu dianya ditubuhkan. Iaitu kita akan lawan pihak yang terlibat dengan rasuah, pencurian duit dan sebagainya. Kita akan lawan dengan mereka. Dan in the way. We wanted to work with Pakatan Harapan, but we have some problem with the different parties in Pakatan Harapan. I don't want to mention it, but I think you all know. We're not breaking away with anybody. We are just free from everybody. Thank you.
Mahathir, the world's oldest leader until his resignation in February, first entered parliament as an MP in 1964 and had 2 stints as prime minister, totaling a quarter of a century. Mahathir said the group still unnamed would be independent champion the rights of the countries would be independent and champion on the rights of the country's Muslim majority and battle corruption. As the coronavirus dropped the global economy to its knees, Thai businessman Yod decided to buy himself an 872,000 treat, a customized lime green Lamborghini. Yod picked up the slick supercar in Bangkok, a city of billionaires with a luxury economy unbroken by the wider economic crisis ripping through Thailand. Take a look.
I'm just waiting every day on my working day. When is my Friday? When is gonna get Saturday or Sunday? Because I want to start the engine and as fast as possible. Listen, and when, especially for the sound from the engine, it makes you laugh, even that you drive alone. The Thailand price tag is so crazy actually, and maybe we triple than other countries, especially in Europe and the US. But if you're in love with that, you have to try your best and effort. But lastly, it's reflect of your successful.
With tourism and exports in free fall, Thailand's growth could shrivel by as much as 10% this year, dumping millions into unemployment. But in a split-screen economy, there are plenty with immunity to the economic scourge caused by COVID-19. Thailand is home to the 9th most billionaires anywhere, according to the China-based Hurun Reports Global Rich List 2020. Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, and Lamborghini have all launched top-end models in Bangkok over the pandemic period, cars with price tags of between $750,000 and $1.2 million. It is a bet on the wealth sloshing around Bangkok. Millions of dollars of that cash were on proud display in the capital last week as an eye-catching 40-car convoy from the Thailand Lamborghini Club cut through the city's knotted traffic for a day trip to a nearby resort. But most Thais are in a different game. The kingdom is one of Asia's least equal countries. Thailand is headed by a super-rich monarchy and buttressed by a handful of family dynasties, with monopolies covering everything from duty-free to convenience stores. Their fortunes have surged under 6 years of military-aligned government, which has parceled out major contracts to them, while the wider economy has backslid.
One percent of the population owns pretty much like 2/3 of the country. And this has widened over the last 6 years of military government and military-backed elected government. It's really the root cause of Thailand's malaise and troubles over the last 2 decades. Because the people who are at the lower rungs, who don't have the money, the income, the wealth, they will feel that they are being dominated by an oligarchy. Just, handful of business families, they own most of the pie. And the people out that for them, for the top tier, to keep most of what they have is to give away and share some and make some concessions to the lower rungs. If they want to play all for keeps, then they risk losing most of what they have.
ASEAN marked its 53rd anniversary against the backdrop of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The ASEAN Secretariat moved the celebrations online, inviting people worldwide to join in the commemoration from the comfort of their own homes. The theme for this year's anniversary focuses on ASEAN's cohesive journey to resilience. The Secretary General of ASEAN, Dato' Lim Jak Khoi, opened the online ceremony with his welcome remarks, followed by speeches from the Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi and Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh. ASEC is hosted in Jakarta by the Indonesian government, while Vietnam is the chair for ASEAN in 2020. Take a look.
Good morning. This year, due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, the celebration of ASEAN Day for the first time is done via online. Over our digital and social media platforms, thank you for tuning in, and I take this opportunity to welcome you to the 2020 ASEAN Day celebration. One activity, the midterm review of the implementation ASEAN Community Blueprints 2025 is currently being conducted. This is pivotal in assessing the progress, identifying the challenges, and addressing the implementation gaps of the 3 pillars. Another example is RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, which is the ASEAN-driven trade pact, considered to be the largest global trade agreement, comprising every key ASEAN economy. In spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, the successful convening of the recent 36th ASEAN Virtual Summit was clear illustration of ASEAN solidarity manifested in concrete regional cooperation. Together with the 2 special summits in April 2020, the 36th ASEAN Summit has, among others, reaffirmed the need for a regional recovery plan post-pandemic 19. This plan involves collaboration among member states, government agencies, industry, private sectors, and other relevant stakeholders. The ultimate task is for ASEAN to have a robust, holistic, and practical recovery framework to minimize the social economic effect of this pandemic while propelling the economic trajectory. If there is any lesson to be learned from this COVID-19 pandemic, it is that in the interconnected world, a global crisis requires international cooperation, and no single country can wrestle any crisis alone. Tackling the pandemic is a social economic impact, solidarity and action at all levels across the international community. In the same context, ASEAN will and must continue to keep its market open, ensure the normal flows of trade and supply chain connectivity, particularly for essential products. Such a demonstration of regional commitment is critical in the absence of coordinated global response and in the light of the pressure to turn inward.
Indeed, the COVID-19 pandemic has put the ASEAN values of solidarity and cooperation to the test. But since the start of the outbreak, ASEAN has been quick to respond, from sharing information to facilitating repatriation of citizens, from keeping trade moving to helping those who are in need. Support from our external partners is also essential in building our regional health resilience and preparedness. This crisis has shown that being inward-looking is not an option. Cooperation and collaboration are central to ASEAN's response to COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Colleagues, the road ahead is not getting any easier. COVID-19 will leave profound impacts to the world as we know it. Global economy is suffering. The threat of virus infection showed no sign of slowing. All of this, while rivalries between the great powers are intensifying, trusts between countries are diminishing, the virtue of international cooperation is being questioned. The strength of our values is tested once more. We must work together to revive our economy, to restore jobs, rebuild market confidence, including by re-establishing essential travels gradually and carefully. We must also work together to maintain our regional peace and stability, not to be dragged into the storm of geopolitical tension or being forced to choose sides. Therefore, we must stay ahead of the curve to maintain our centrality, maintain our relevance, and be at the driving seat in turning rivalry into cooperation, distrust into strategic trust. The ASEAN values must continue to be our guiding principle, including the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific.
ASEAN is now at a critical juncture. The new dynamism in our geostrategic landscape, emerging regional and global issues require ASEAN to be ever more cohesive and responsive. Shoulder to shoulder, we can rise above any challenge and move ASEAN forward. Therefore, we should redouble our efforts to strengthen our community while proactively and effectively promote our ties with the dialogue partners. Under Vietnam's chairmanship this year, a cohesive and responsive ASEAN has taken well-coordinated measures to protect the health of our peoples and revive our economies. ASEAN has led regional efforts in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic, innovated our operations, and further deepened our external relations, thus elevated ASEAN international standing. With the Think Community, Act Community approach, Vietnam will continue to work closely with our neighbors and friends to build a strong and united ASEAN that is indispensable for peace and prosperity in our region and beyond. Thank you.
The online celebration was broadcasted on ASEAN's website and social media platforms. Along with the official speeches, the online celebrated featured congratulatory wishes from ASEAN citizens, ASEAN's external partners, and special musical performances by the region's youth and a Thai-based social enterprise, See ASEAN Consonant, respectively. In Vietnam's capital of Hanoi, a feline coffee house opens with a mission. Unlike normal cat cafes, owner Nguyen Tan Bin is using it as a feline rescue center to save injured cats across the city. Take a look.
Đi lạc, có những bạn là đi lạc xong rồi bị tai nạn ở ngoài, bị chó cắn. Rồi có những bạn thì do chủ họ không có điều kiện để trả thanh toán viện phí, hoặc là bị chủ bỏ rơi, thì mình được các bạn của mình ở Hà Nội, khắp Hà Nội này, khi mà tìm được các bé có hoàn cảnh như thế thì họ sẽ điện cho mình để mình tới đón, lợi nhuận. Còn mình mở quán cà phê này mục đích là hướng đến mục đích là phi lợi nhuận và góp cái công sức nào đó có thể giúp các bé có hoàn cảnh khó khăn, đi lạc, tai nạn có thể chữa lành về thể xác cũng như tâm hồn. Sau đó thì khi các bé hoàn toàn bình phục có thể giúp các bé tìm được chủ mới xứng đáng và yêu thương các bé hơn. Thì mô hình.
Và khi em đến đây chơi thì ngoài được chơi với bé mèo ra thì em có thể biết thêm về câu chuyện các bé cũng như là đồng cảm hơn với các bạn ý.
The cafe has clawed its way up to the favorite list of many cat lovers since it opened last month, offering coffee and cuddles, but also the chance to give the animals medicine and even engage with them on a deeper level. Thieves have been known to steal cats, which can then be sold on for consumption. Owner Bin was inspired to start this coffee house, which runs as a non-profit, after spotting cats in cages and others who had been injured by thieves. He also hopes 1 or 2 customers might be tempted to take home more than a coffee. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.